The scene shifts to the past, where Chris finds himself engaged in a spirited sparring match with Jonathan, a scene that would later be etched in the memories of their fellow knights. The collective astonishment among the onlookers is palpable as Chris, at his tender age, not only manages to hold his ground against the seasoned Jonathan, but also attains the esteemed rank of a 2-star knight. The murmurs of surprise ripple through the assembly, echoing the disbelief at Chris's meteoric rise in the knightly hierarchy. Adding to the intrigue is the revelation that Chris's journey to a 1-star knight took a mere 3.5 years, a feat that defies the conventional timeline for such advancements. The whispers of the crowd betray a mix of admiration and curiosity, as they witness the unfolding spectacle of a prodigious talent making its mark on the knightly order. In the midst of the sparring match is when Chris, upon Jonathan's suggestion, takes a knee. However, what follows is a testament to Chris's unwavering determination and resilience. Rising promptly to his feet, he expresses a keen desire for yet another round. Jonathan, perceptive and impressed, recognizes in Chris not only natural aptitude, but also an unyielding work ethic, a combination that distinguishes him as more than a mere prodigy. Fast-forwarding to the present, the once revered swordsman, Chris, finds himself facing an unexpected challenge in the form of Roman. The disbelief etched on the faces of Jonathan and Roman Dimitry mirrors the shockwaves resonating through the knightly enclave. In a moment that challenges the established order, Roman, seemingly an inconspicuous troublemaker a month ago, emerges as a formidable adversary. Roman Dimitry, seeking clarification from Jonathan, inquires whether he had forewarned him about the significance of Deputy Knight Commander Chris, Jonathan's most prized 2-star aura knight. The revelation of Roman's prowess sends ripples of disbelief, challenging the preconceived notions of the onlookers. The skills displayed by Roman transcend the markers of a mere 1 or 2 years of training, hinting at a depth of experience and dedication that defies expectation. Jonathan, with a measured demeanor, dismisses the surprise of his comrades, attributing Roman's extraordinary skills to an innate genius. He points to the fusion of natural talent and relentless work ethic as the catalyst propelling Roman's rapid advancement. While Chris's skills remain commendable, Jonathan acknowledges Roman's unique prowess, labeling him a genius in his own right. Roman, in his assessment, believes that Chris possesses the capability to single-handedly dismantle the notorious Blood Fang gang. The juxtaposition of standards within the order becomes apparent as Jonathan beams with pride for Chris, considering him a skilled warrior by their measures. Yet Roman, with a discerning eye, places Chris at the bottom of his own stringent hierarchy. Despite Roman's initial disbelief at Chris's actions, Roman Dimitry breaks into applause, reveling in the realization that his eldest son is, indeed, a genius in the realm of sword skills. Turning to Jonathan for reassurance, Roman Dimitry seeks confirmation of the revelation, expressing immense joy at the recognition of the latent potential within his progeny. In this revelation, Roman Dimitry finds a profound sense of pride and contentment, grateful for the genius that Chris undeniably embodies. In a moment of triumph and pride, Roman's father beckons him forth and expresses unparalleled happiness at the accomplishment his son has achieved independently. Overflowing with admiration, he commends Roman's success and extends an invitation to applaud the young man for his remarkable feat. Roman's father, exuding a sense of paternal pride, assures his son that a fitting reward awaits him and encourages Roman to articulate any desire he may harbor. With a sly smirk, Roman, cognizant of his impending departure for the battlefield, asserts to his father that rather than seeking exemption from enlistment, he wishes for the autonomy to select his own comrades. The unexpected nature of this request leaves Roman's father visibly surprised. Seeking clarity, Roman's father questions the rationale behind this peculiar choice, given the considerable time remaining before Roman must depart for the battlefield. In response, Roman elucidates his desire for independence in choosing his own team, a sentiment rooted in his belief that such a privilege would be paramount for his success on the impending mission. Acknowledging the gravity of Roman's request, his father acquiesces, conferring upon him the authority to assemble his own team. Roman expresses his gratitude, but there remains one final matter on his mind. Seizing the opportunity, Roman addresses his father with a final request, one that carries the weight of future decisions. Roman's father, attuned to the significance of this moment, assures Roman that as long as he continues to demonstrate the caliber witnessed in his recent achievement, there shall be no grounds for refusal. The scene transitions to Chris's room, where shock washes over him upon learning that Roman wishes to be instructed in the art of aura manipulation. Stunned, Chris turns to Jonathan, expressing his disbelief at the audacity of such a request. Jonathan, unfazed, informs Chris that this directive comes directly from the Lord, emphasizing its non-negotiable nature. Struggling to reconcile the notion of imparting aura knowledge to the very individual he recently engaged in combat, Chris protests, recounting his futile attempt to counter Roman's skillful maneuvers. Chris, desiring nothing more than to retreat into obscurity, finds himself at odds with Jonathan's insistence on undertaking the responsibility of teaching Roman the intricacies of aura manipulation. In an attempt to assuage Chris's reservations, Jonathan proposes an offer that captures Chris's attention, prompting his eyes to widen in curiosity. Jonathan, with a solemn gaze, approaches Chris and expresses a unique proposition: to teach the young master Roman and discern the nuances that set him apart. This request comes with a promise that, should Chris successfully navigate this task, Jonathan pledges to unveil all his closely guarded secrets to him. The weight of this offer leaves Chris visibly stunned, prompting him to seek confirmation on the sincerity behind Jonathan's words. In response to Chris's incredulous inquiry, Jonathan affirms the seriousness of his proposal. He articulates that, in the event of Chris accomplishing the assigned task, the coveted knowledge required to ascend to the esteemed rank of a 3-star aura knight will be divulged. The gravity of this pledge hangs in the air as Chris, grappling with the implications, bites his lip in contemplation before ultimately accepting Jonathan's offer. The scene transitions to Roman's chamber, where his butler brings tidings of the castle abuzz with rumors of Roman's extraordinary victory over the deputy knight commander. Roman, contemplating the aftermath of his recent triumph, quizzes his butler on the concept of aura. The butler, candidly admitting his lack of knowledge, suggests that it might be akin to the ability to manipulate mana. Roman, drawing from his experiences in the realm of Merim, perceives a disparity in the terminologies. While the energy demonstrated by Chris is recognized as a surge of power in Merim, the local reference to it as aura strikes him as somewhat inefficient. Roman contemplates the divergence in the utilization of energy, concluding that the inhabitants of this realm may benefit from a deeper understanding of the powers they wield. Anticipating the upcoming training session with Chris, Roman resolves to investigate firsthand the intricacies of aura manipulation in this unfamiliar land. The stage is set for a collision of knowledge and perspectives. The narrative shifts outdoors, where Roman and Chris stand facing each other. A subtle smile graces Roman's face, eliciting a surge of irritation from Chris. Managing to quell his rising frustration, Chris decides to lay the groundwork before delving into their training session. With a composed demeanor, he begins to enlighten Roman on the intricacies of aura. Chris elucidates that aura is a specialized manifestation of mana, specifically tailored for the utilization by knights. In contrast to magicians who channel mana through circlets, knights store this potent energy throughout their bodies. The historical luminary in the realm of aura was Emperor Alexandro, credited with the groundbreaking insight that disseminating stored mana across the body could fortify one's physical prowess. Aura then becomes the act of projecting this accumulated mana outward, concentrating and releasing it for a surge in power. Acknowledging the historical context, Chris assures Roman that the arcane origins of mana are not paramount for their immediate endeavor. Instead, he steers the conversation towards the rarity of individuals who can harness mana effectively. Approximately 1 in 1,000 men choose the path of an aura knight, while a mere 1 in tens of thousands can traverse the intricate route of a magician. The pivotal initial step for an aspiring aura knight is the ability to sense mana, a hurdle most fail to surmount. Chris reflects on his own journey, recounting that it took him about half a year to develop this sensory capability, a time frame considered commendable, given that many take more than a year to achieve even basic mana perception. Here, innate talent emerges as a decisive factor. Roman, absorbing this newfound knowledge, expresses eagerness to commence training with a focus on mana sensing. Intrigued, he queries Chris about the methodology employed in honing this skill. Chris willingly agrees to share his insights, contemplating the latent pride Roman might harbor after triumphing over him in their recent match. However, Chris cautions Roman that their training won't be as straightforward as Roman perceives. Proficiency in swordsmanship, which Roman has demonstrated, differs significantly from talent in mana manipulation. The impending reality check, Chris hints, will reveal the nuanced challenges that lie ahead. Unbeknownst to Roman, the premise of their aura training might require recalibration. Considering Roman's existing awareness of mana sensing and his exposure to the teachings of the Heavenly Demon Magician, in the pursuit of mastery, Roman harbors a conviction that relying solely on his existing knowledge is a shortcut to degradation. Even in the face of tasks whose rationale eludes his comprehension, Roman acknowledges the necessity of familiarizing himself with the processes before him. Chris, a mentor of sorts, advises Roman to attune himself to the cadence of his breath and to focus intently, emphasizing the importance of sensory awareness regarding every point of contact with Roman's body. A crucial juncture arises as Roman begins to channel mana into a singular focal point within his body, the precursor to manifesting what is known as aura. It becomes apparent that Roman's initial struggles with the process yield results as his aura materializes. Yet a twist awaits, confounding expectations. In the mind of Chris, the mentor, Roman's manifestation of aura signifies the attainment of a one-star aura knight status. However, to Chris's astonishment, Roman's entire being is enveloped in a fiery aura, surpassing the anticipated outcome. Roman, in his introspective musings, deems the conventional method of harnessing ki in Murim, wherein waste is purged to facilitate the storage of ki within the body, as inadequate for this new world. Here, the gathering of mana and its natural diffusion throughout the body contrasts sharply with the Murim approach. In this realm, mana, while abundant, is lighter and more prone to escaping the corporeal form. The disparity extends to the methods employed by the denizens of this world, including Chris, whose utilization of aura mirrors Murim's external arts in training the physique, but lacks efficacy in mana retention. The inefficiency of a sword that releases stored mana further underscores the divergent principles at play. Roman, discerning the limitations of this world's techniques, foresees a protracted training regimen yielding little progress. His skepticism is met with incredulity from Chris, who questions the ease with which Roman achieved what took him over a decade to accomplish. In the face of Chris's inquiry, Roman bursts into laughter. The mentor, puzzled, confronts Roman about the apparent mockery of his earnest efforts. In a pivotal exchange between Roman and Chris, Roman raises a thought-provoking question. Amidst Chris's relentless pursuit of his goals, has he ever critically assessed the efficacy of his chosen training methods? The query leaves Chris visibly shocked, prompting him to seek clarification from Roman. Roman, in response, delves into the common tendency of individuals to unquestioningly embrace traditional, inherited training methods as the optimal approach. As Roman learns aura manipulation from Chris, a contemplative air surrounds him. He wonders aloud why people remain fixated on these established methods despite their evident flaws. Is it rooted in ignorance, or is it a testament to Chris's unwavering faith in Captain Jonathan? These reflections underscore Roman's discerning nature and his inclination to question the status quo. Roman succinctly articulates that the simplicity of teaching these established methods contributes to their perpetuation. The reluctance to expose individuals to potential failure or criticism becomes a driving force behind the continuation of such practices. While acknowledging the importance of Chris's decade-long training, Roman points out the irony that Chris never once questioned the methods employed during this extensive period. This realization becomes the source of Roman's amusement, visible in his subtle laughter at Chris's expense. Undeterred by Chris's astonishment, Roman continues his discourse, passing by him with a conviction that there is no perfect answer in the world. He emphasizes that even the methods he, himself, has chosen to follow were born out of a single individual's concerns for their successors. This revelation highlights the intrinsic link between tradition and the well-intentioned worries of those who paved the way. In a philosophical turn, Roman explores the notion that these worries are the root cause of pain in life. Confronting challenges and criticisms during moments of failure becomes the crucible for personal growth. Yet Roman argues change is essential, drawing parallels to his own life, where he rejected his father's teachings to forge an individual path. As the conversation unfolds, Roman proposes they conclude their training, prompting Chris to seek guidance on his future endeavors. Then Chris asks Roman to tell him what he should do from now on here. The narrative then takes a poignant detour into Roman's past life. A vivid memory emerges where Roman triumphs over a formidable warrior. In the aftermath of the intense encounter, Baek Joong-Hyuk, also known as Roman, sought out the warrior who had faced him in battle. With a blend of curiosity and inquiry, Roman questioned the warrior's intent to persist in retaliation. The warrior, however, humbly acknowledged his defeat and revealed that the blood demon sect, under his command, would now align itself with John of the Heavenly Demon sect. In a moment of candid reflection, the warrior admitted to Roman, or Baek Joong-Hyuk, that this was the first occasion he had encountered someone as formidable as John. Sensing an opportunity for guidance, the warrior posed a question similar to the one previously asked by Chris of Roman. "What steps must I take to attain the strength you embody, Joong-Hyuk?" In a profound declaration, the warrior expressed his commitment to Joong-Hyuk, proclaiming a decision to dedicate his life to the formidable warrior. The warrior emphasized the mutual benefits that could be derived from his own journey towards greater strength. In a fervent plea, he implored Joong-Hyuk to share the wisdom and counsel needed for his progression. The scene seamlessly shifts back to the present, where Roman discerns a similar warrior spirit in Chris. Recognizing that Chris has willingly set aside his pride to pursue strength, Roman finds the unfolding dynamics in this world intriguing. His subtle smirk reveals a growing fascination with Chris's journey and the evolving complexities of their shared narrative. In a moment of earnest conversation, Roman countered Chris's revelation by expressing his reluctance to divulge such information. Chris, undeterred, inquired about what Roman desired him to do instead. Roman clarified that he simply advised Chris to break away from the ingrained methods he had adhered to throughout his life. He emphasized that offering a direct answer would only replicate the life choices Chris had made thus far. However, Roman proposed an alternative approach. He suggested that if Chris wished to seek answers firsthand, he should shadow Roman and glean insights from observing his actions. This unexpected proposition left Chris visibly surprised. Roman further disclosed his imminent departure for war in 6 months, urging Chris to closely observe how he confronted various adversaries and triumphed over challenges. Roman encouraged Chris to scrutinize the diverse strategies employed in overcoming foes. In a final compelling statement, Roman outlined a long-term commitment. He challenged Chris to follow him for a decade and witness the evolution of his strength. Roman asserted that by the end of this period, Chris would likely discover the answers he sought if he remained steadfast in his journey alongside Roman.